These are for various family members, and I'm going to talk a little bit about half of them. Uncle Mike's going to talk about the other half. First and foremost, I'll talk about Uncle Mike's. As you see, he was in the U.S. Navy during Vietnam from 64 to 68. 3 tours in Vietnam. Unit VF 53 Iron Eagles. He was on the USS Ticonderoga, Hancock, and Bonhomme Richard. And anyway, and as most of you know, Uncle Mike was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma as a result of his service time from the napalm. Okay? So, and as you can see, he's also fully recovered, and we hope he stays around a lot longer. But anyway, we definitely want to represent him good service. And thank you a lot. And then next, I'm going to talk about my brother-in-law, Ryan Cox. Brother-in-law Ryan Cox, he was in the 82nd Airborne from 2002 to 2008. He did deployments in Iraq and Korea. I think, didn't you do 2 Iraq tours?
I did 2.
He also received the Purple Heart for getting blown off a Humvee in an IED attack, and he survived. That's why he's got 2 twitches and stuff every now and then. But I'm joking, but he's just fine. And I want to thank him for his service. And then, receiving the other honor is for his brothers that can't make it. These are both Lori's brothers. Kevin Cox, Sergeant Kevin Cox. He was in the U.S. Army 101st Airborne Division from 2002 to 2012. He did numerous Iraq and Afghanistan deployments. And he can't make it here today. He's in Alabama. But we'd like to thank him for his service.
And a salute to Kevin.
And a salute to Kevin. And last but not least of my introductions will be my cousin Joel Turner Jr. He joined the Army in 06, and he's still in the Army, and he couldn't make it here today. He's stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, and he was in the 3rd and 75th Ranger Regiment, and he did deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan, multiple. I'd like to salute him too, Uncle Mike. And then I will be followed by Uncle Mike.
I promised my nephew I would keep it clean and respectful, which was not easy to do. But anyway, on a serious note, first of all, I want to thank all the North Carolina folks for treating us like royalty since we've been up here. Matt Jr., Lori, Daniel, his family. We have been really treated royally since we've been up here. And I want to thank all you guys for the hospitality. It is unsurpassed. And I want to drive that point home. We've loved every minute of it. We got the family together, and everybody's here, and it just warms my heart, man. I tell you, it warms my heart. Anyway, let's get down to business. Number one, there's a reason why Matt's plaque is number 1 here in my mind. Matt was a warrior for 25 years, supporting this country when we were out, you know, drinking beer and raising hell. He was in the jungles of Brazil, Afghanistan, Iraq, all over the place. And he did 25 years of service to this country, which is, if you add his time up, it's almost equal to all the rest of us together. So he is a true warrior. And my hat's off to Matt Jr. I'll always respect him. He is a real patriot, and I can't say that enough. Matt, my hat's off to you, man. You're the best. You're the best. Anyway, I won't go into his deployment. Well, I will go into his deployments. He was in Afghanistan, Korea, Africa, and South America, and I'm sure many other places he couldn't even tell us about. So Matt's, you know, he came home, he sacrificed his body. He's got artificial hips, knees, everything else, jumping out of damn airplanes in the middle of the night, protecting all of us over here who are sitting back, watching the late news and having our cocktails. He was out there doing it, man, for 25 years. Well, my hat's off to Matt. Okay, next, you all guys all know about me, but I got to say one thing about me. Not much. It's going to be short and sweet. But the Vietnam War was not a popular war. We were like the Rodney Dangerfield of servicemen. We didn't get any respect. We got spit on, flipped off, sneered at, it basically run out of town. I mean, people did not like the Vietnam War. And unfortunately, in the end, they were right. It ended up being an ugly, nasty war. But I was part of it, and I'm proud to have been part of it. I did my patriotic duty, and I'd suit up and do it again right now if I had to. But this plaque of mine really represents me as well as all the guys that I knew that did not come back. I saw them chopped up with propellers. I saw them go off the side of the plane, and planes explode, bombs blow them up on the flight deck. So all of these guys, this plaque for me is in memory of all of the guys that did not come back. They were the real heroes. I'm just standing here talking, and I had a small role. I did my job, but compared to these guys that didn't come back, I'm just a small player, a very small player. And this is my dad, James Turner. He got drafted in 1941. He had the choice to either go in the Marine Corps or the Navy or the Army. He had a choice because he probably scored a little higher on the test than the Army guys. Anyway, he had the choice to go in the Navy.
Always has to be good and fun.
He was on his South America, all over the place, and his ship, the USS Atherton, had the distinction of being the ship that sunk the last Japanese submarine in World War II with depth charges. So he told me that, and they were very proud of that they sunk the last Japanese sub in World War II. Then the war was over. Anyway, Dad, I salute you. You were a real trooper, and I respect you. It's Joel Keith Hunter, U.S. Navy. I'm going to cut it short now. I'm getting too long, I think. Keith was stationed on a guided missile cruiser, USS Texas. And for some reason, he came to Alameda, California, which was about 20 miles from where I live. And he was stationed there while his ship was in dry dock. They were refitting it for missiles and all kinds of stuff. So he would visit us numerous times. He'd come over for the weekend with a big jug of Jack Daniels, and we'd have us a good old Navy time. So I was very proud of Keith. He did his duty. He served honorably. He got a honorable discharge. He came out of the Navy, and I'm very proud of him. And unfortunately, he ended his life in a not real positive way, but it doesn't discredit him in my eyes one bit for the patriot that he was in the military. He served his time honorably. He got an honorable discharge. So, Keith, I salute you. I got one more down here, son of Keith. Tell a little story about that. Keith was at my house one night, and we had some friends come over, and they were old friends of ours, and they brought their young daughter. So Keith, being the guy he was, he just hooked right up with this lady. Her name was Holly Hunter, and he ended up marrying her. And all of a sudden, this guy came along, Joel Keith. So I had a little part in it because they met at my house, started their romance at my house, and eventually had this son and several other sons. So all I can say is these guys are serving now. Joel Hunter Jr. now, and he's been deployed to Afghanistan, and he's still in to this day. And my hat's off to him, and I salute him. And all the other guys on this on this display. They're all warriors in their own kind of way.
So y'all go ahead and give a round of applause if you want for
And for Uncle Mike's speech. Now I'd like to just take the time to thank everybody that helped me put this thing together here. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Uncle Mike and ask you for coming over to California. bricks in, and one by one, you know, so they help. My wife is always supporting me, they're really glad I tea, maybe even a cold beer sometimes, and to get this thing done, so I really appreciate it all. And Uncle Joe, of course, and Uncle Tom, Uncle David, and their the beloved ones they brought with them, Doris, and really appreciate you coming out, making music, coming to our house. You're more than welcome. Come here anytime, make music, or just come hang out. And last but not least, this is a living memorial. Granted, everybody here's not living, but we have evergreens. It's going to be ever living out here, okay? So you see the bottom shelf still empty. If you know of someone that's a family member related by marriage or whatever, and you want to represent them here, you're more than welcome. We have a bottom shelf. We got more room, and if we have to, we can build on. So anytime you guys want to come by and look at it, you know, feel free to. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. My daddy for making it, even though I know he's a little late, but that wasn't his fault. But anyway, I really appreciate him coming. Appreciate Ryan coming, and Lori and Jill, and April and Peanut. Everybody's helped cook, so we're gonna eat big tonight. Ryan is grilling the meat right now as we talk, as we speak. So appreciate everybody coming out, and Uncle Joe's gonna lead us with some.
And Jerry. Yes. Your neighbor.
Yeah, Jerry.
Absolutely.
Jerry, my neighbor, he helped me mow half my doggone yard
And what
today.
about over here, figuring out all this?
And Jerry was the first one to help me put the flagpole in too.
Man,
So.
can we do this? What? Do this thing, people.
And did I forget anybody else? I apologize. I did. David Jr., thank you for coming out. First time you ever been to my house. I really appreciate it. Anyway, thank y'all very much, and let's enjoy some music.
Hey!
I'll quit yapping.
All right.